Welcome everybody to another episode of Web Tools TV. And today we have the CEO of TrenDemon, and that is Avishai Sharon calling from, is it Jerusalem?
Near Netanya,
Near.
near Tel Aviv.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Well, welcome, Avishai. Glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Okay, you got me curious because I'm like, wait a minute, how many years ago? I don't want to date myself as far as the last time I studied geography, but obviously I don't know Israel's geography. So I know it's a weird question, but to give, us Americans that don't, what are we known for? I could go off kilter on who was it, the gal like 10 years ago that didn't know where Georgia was or something in America, but I'll spare you as far as us Americans knowing geography. But so whereabouts are you?
In Netanya, which is just north of Tel Aviv,
Okay.
on the beach.
On the beach. Well, hey, on the beach. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's very nice. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? And, obviously don't share anything you don't want to share. Not that you would, but I mean, like, what's your background, that kind of thing, as far as leading up to TrenDemon?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So I'm 34, married. I have a 1.5-year-old baby panda at home. And
Did you say baby panda?
Yeah, that's our little daughter. When she was born, it was like those baby pandas, and that name kind of stuck.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
we just went with that.
How cute.
So my background is actually from programming, from developing. Started programming as a teenager. Pretty big geek back in the day. From then went on to web development, and then built some websites. Started building for my friends, then built for some companies. Started seeing that there was growing demand. That was back in 96, 97, really kind of the early days of internet, at least here. And then at the age of 18, like everybody else here in Israel, you have to join the army. So
I didn't know that. Okay, I'm getting a geography and a history lesson.
Yeah.
Wait, history or a culture lesson or.
Exactly. So this is like a really like 60 seconds about Israeli history. So when I was 18, I joined the Air Force, and I started actually as in flight school in pilot academy. So got to fly a bit, and then after a year and a half of flying, it was at one point that I took a plane into another country. I'm not going to say which, but I crossed the border. I came back. They told me, you better stay on the ground. So
was that like not an intended? You weren't supposed to go to wherever it was you went? It's like, okay, you're done. Your career.
I was and I still am a crappy navigator. So I just had no idea that I crossed. Only when I got shouts in my headset, then I realized I was in the wrong country. So I came back, and they told me, you better, for everybody's safety.
Yes, yes, there we go. Community safety.
And be close to a computer. That's like, they thought I couldn't do much damage there, but
they don't know you very well.
Yeah, I managed to surprise them even there.
So is that like a hint if somebody doesn't want to stay in the army in Israel? Like, or maybe that's not something you'd advise. Never mind. Okay, that was
take a plane, cross the border, and then get kicked out. No, I didn't get kicked out of the army. I wasn't that lucky. I got transferred to a different place, and then but the good thing was that I got back to computers and started developing. And working on what's called geographic information systems. So they said if I can't navigate, maybe I should build systems to help other people navigate. That was kind of the
That's actually a good plan. As far as I'm thinking problemming, it's like one of the problems. My background is actually programming, although I don't do as much of it now. But one of my biggest problems is I can't figure out what the user needs are, because I don't think of the questions unless they ask the questions. It sounds like if they're putting you in a position to work like geography mapping, and if you're having trouble navigating, it sounds like that's a perfect spot.
I'd be the best customer, right?
Yeah. Wow. It sounds like I'm thinking that all of Israel has really intelligent people. I don't know if both men and women have to go in the army at 18, but at least 18-year-old men, or is it
all of us, men, women?
Okay, I'm getting really curious here now when I'm talking about. But it sounds like, I mean, that seems like an education right there, that it at least inspires you to maybe think deeper than just 18 and you're working at a fast food restaurant. I'm sorry, no offense to anybody 18 working at a fast food restaurant. like life
which
lessons.
which I also did before that. I mean, that's fine, but I think what really teaches you is, first of all, especially when you work in the technology space in the Army, you get to know what's possible with computers and with technology, and really push the limit of what you can do. The second part is responsibility, and you understand that you're giving this huge responsibility to you're being trusted with people's lives, and you understand that really it's only up to you and the merit of your own ideas and how good your ideas are and what you can do with them. And I think that's essentially entrepreneurship, of just believing that you can yourself do some stuff and get things accomplished. And the Army is a great school for that, because it trusts you with all of that technology, all these tools. We had guys in our unit that didn't have driver's license, but they were flying, $20 million jets.
Wow.
And yeah, it's like, hey, mom, can I get a ride? But I can fly you somewhere if you want it.
That takes a thing. Like, wow, that's really something.
Yeah, and you don't realize that only like in retrospect, when you look back and you think, okay, that's not trivial to have that kind of responsibility or have that sort of experience. So yeah, I think that's one of the milestones that you can look back and say, this is when you learn something that really kind of leads up to being, building your own business or developing something. So again, after that, I was again I stayed in the Ministry of Defense and went to work for a cyber unit. So doing also again development work and programming, but more on the cyber side and penetration of systems. Finished the whole kind of military and law school. So yeah, it's a Jewish mother who wanted a son as a lawyer.
I was going to say, you said law school, right? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you travel all different places. Well, I mean, no pun intended, but that too.
Definitely. No, it's I wanted to do something different. No, except for the fact that mother insisted, I wanted to really try and do something different than computers. So law seemed like an interesting choice. So I started law school, but again, in my second year of school, I realized I really wanted to get back into computers, and I started my first services company, helping other companies develop software and develop web applications and apps. And when I founded my first web services company, it was basically me in my parents' basement, developing, doing some stuff. That was the company. Me sitting in the basement there. And I think that was kind of, when you start really doing some projects, some interesting projects, and it started growing from there. That was in 2006. We started recruiting some more people I started recruiting more people to the team, and we basically grew from there. And all this time, we constantly thought of what could we do that's scalable, that really is something that is, again, a product that we can then take, solve a genuine problem, do something useful, apart from just doing these ongoing projects. And we used to play with a lot of different ideas around at that time. So we used our spare time to kind of play around with different apps and different activities. For example, we built one time. I remember coming back to my car with my brother, and I see a parking inspector right about to write a ticket on my car. And we thought, there has to be an app for that. I mean, there has to be some way to avoid your parking ticket. So we built this mobile app that allows you to report wherever you got a parking ticket and wherever you saw a parking inspector. And that could be like an alert system. So when you're going somewhere, you can say if you're in a hazardous zone or if there's a chance you're going to get a ticket. So we just played around with that.
And mind, I have to say.
I just really hate parking tickets. That was it, basically. But so we played around with all these kind of different ideas, and one of the things we saw there is that when you have something that's really nice, people will write about it. People will cover it. Press will will discuss it. So this TV reporter found it on the web and wanted to do an interview for like the evening news about this application. So she took me and they did this whole item on the street where they're filming like the street with cars and talking about the parking problem in Tel Aviv. If you don't know, Tel Aviv has a massive parking problem. So
as in parking tickets, or as in not being able to find a spot to park?
Both. Both.
Okay. Well, you're kind of stuck. If you can't find a spot to park and then you kind of park in a spot maybe you shouldn't, then you're going to get a parking ticket.
It's a lose-lose. I mean, there's no way to win. I mean, it's just that. And so we get to the item, and we're going on the street, and for some reason, none of the cars have parking tickets on them. I mean, that was kind of the intro to the piece that she wanted to do. She was going to film all these cars, all those parking tickets, and then say, you know, Tel Aviv has this huge problem, and now this young guy has this app that could help solve it. But she didn't give up. She went back to her car, and she brought back this huge stack of parking tickets that she had, those unpaid parking tickets, and she starts handing them out to the different cars, just putting them all the cars on that street, and then filming and saying, you know, hey, this is a huge problem here. So
that's great.
That's why I realized how TV works.
Yeah, exactly. There's a great book, and of course I can't think of it right now. I'm lying or something. I promise you. Ryan, is it Ryan Holiday that wrote, or Trust Me, I'm Lying or something?
Yeah.
Wait, that's the show. Okay, I'm totally making a fool of myself. But anyway.
No. You're right. Trust Me, I'm Lying. He has the second book, Growth Hacking.
Yes, but it's very interesting to hear all the different things that he's done. And of course, he says, you know, don't do this, but that actually they're doing as far as the marketing. Things like that, like putting tickets on. Yeah. I was just going to ask you if she had a pad of paper and did that, but having a stack of parking tickets definitely is more authentic.
Real thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Wow. It's like you had this whole lifetime of experience before you even got to TrenDemon. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Did I over anglicize it?
No, it's great. TrenDemon. It's awesome. It's all about trying to find these. I think that for me and for the people that work with me, it's always about, first of all, having fun with what we do and trying to really find places where we can be not just creative, but also have some sort of there's some sort of value. And really, like you mentioned Ryan Holiday and growth hacking, I think a lot of activities today are just about finding those opportunities where you can do this hack, where you can use technology to do something you couldn't do before. All the great startups today, you know, talking from Airbnb to Dropbox to whatever, to Uber, is just about leveraging technology in a way that could be considered a hack, but essentially it's just something that will eventually happen. So, and that is kind of the guiding principle in whatever we do, is not try and follow, you know, what everyone else is doing, but always try and find, you know, what's being overlooked, right? So what are people missing? And then how can we use technology to kind of do something cool there?
And kind of building on what other people have done?
Inspiration, right? We call this inspiration, getting inspired by, but definitely, I mean, you always build on top of what you see others do and try to improve on that, and continuously test your ideas. And that's why we're constantly trying stuff, because it's much easier to test stuff now and see really quickly if it's working or if it's not working. That's
true. Compared to, I'm so used to the internet, but compared to like before the internet, which I can't even imagine right now, but as far as testing applications and things, and I know what it was. Did you ever use, is it Fox Pro? It's like way like this development, or even, you know, compiling Java or something, where, you know, you develop your application and you're sitting there waiting, like you can go have a whole meal while it compiles and go test it. And it's like, oh man, you know, one typo or something. Okay, let me go do that and then recompile. And that's obviously years ago, but the web development, to be able to see it faster.
Yeah, my first startup was a stand-up comedy club. Me and my cousin opened like 10 years ago. That was our first business, and we just thought, hey, it wouldn't be cool to have a stand-up comedy club in the city because there was nothing around, and it's very expensive to fail when you fail there, because you're investing and you're building and you're having this place and you're bringing people, investing a lot, and you can spend a lot of time and effort until you realize if something is working or not. So it's, you know, you're failing very late, and as opposed to technology, where one of the good things is you can fail very quickly, and then iterate and then try and find what's not working. So I'm not even talking about, you know, developing in the old time, but just like old style businesses and old style, you know, or just you know, brick and mortar and shops, things that have a high risk factor in terms of you have to invest a lot initially to see if it even works.
That's a really good point. Because I was thinking, as far as, you know, printing business cards or, you know, something like that, where if there's a typo, you've got to go actually reprint it, and it's the time. Whereas now, if you have a typo on the website, you're right, you just go in there and fix the typo. Yeah.
never happened.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. What typo? It must be your eyes. That's a really good point. You know, Avishai, I feel like I need to like create an infographic of like your timeline because all these different. I mean, you said like a comedy. I was gonna say comedy club. So you have to come over to Hollywood and, and go to a comedy club. But all these different things that you've done, it's like whole different. Like what do you call it? Renaissance man?
Um,
Is that a term you've ever been called?
no, no, just guy trying to have fun.
There you go. I like that. I'd only recently been. My son actually said, "Mom, you're a Renaissance woman." I'm like, "What is that? I'm old." No, or something like that. But somehow, like jack of all trades, but actually master, not the saying that we have jack of all trades, master of none. I got to watch the sayings because I don't know how many of those are global. Which, by the way, you must have to learn English in school because you have like perfect English.
Yeah, we do. We do learn English in school, but I lived abroad.
Okay.
Our family lived in Europe for a couple of years, and I went to an American school there. So that kind of stuck. But in general, I think in Israel there's a very good level of English, not just because of the education, but because of kind of you're immersed in technology, you're immersed in the internet, and so English is really kind of again a native language for a lot of Israelis, which makes it a lot easier for us, I think, to work abroad and to do stuff. But yeah, thanks.
Excellent. Well, before we end this interview, as you all know, tuning into WebTools TV, this is the one where we get to know the man behind the brand. And so now that we're just kind of building up that anticipation, you'll have to tune into Social Cafe when Avishai comes back and explains about TrenDemon. But before we go, just so people can get that little hunger going, what is TrenDemon? If you'd like your elevator pitch as far as explaining what it is.
Okay. TrenDemon is a tool for content marketers to help them automatically increase the performance of their websites. We basically analyze the journeys, the buyer journeys or the user journeys that people take. We find which journeys lead to conversions, so newsletter signups, sales, whatever. And using content recommendations and call to actions, we're able to modify and to improve those journeys and increase the conversion rate from those assets, as well as analytics. So helping you understand how your content is performing and knowing what you should do next to fuel this content machine.
Excellent. That definitely got me hungry. So all you guys tuning in, you're going to have to pay attention, look at the description on the YouTube, and you'll have to tune into the Social Cafe episode when we dig a little deeper into TrenDemon. And you put these two together and you know everything that you need to know about the man behind the brand and the brand. So thank you all for tuning in. And Avishai, where do people find you?
Like on the net or what?
Yeah, like TrenDemon.com, is that?
Yeah, we can find us, on TrenDemon.com. Twitter is @TrenDemon.
It's pretty unique. So you look up TrenDemon, you're going to find.
Just look for the devil. Just look for little horns. We'll be there.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will see you the same time, same place next week on WebTools TV. Thanks all.